One of the reasons why I love going around the Philippines is because I love getting lost.
Don't kill me!
Not just geographically, but culturally as well. I've traveled extensively around the country, yet each time I visit a new province, I realize that I still have a lot to learn when it comes to Filipino food. We tend to eat what we grew up eating, and after that, what our friends eat and what is deemed popular.
Oh my god, holy.
Unless we expose ourselves to different flavors, we will never really know our roots. Because in the Philippines, each dish can tell you a little bit about our history. Recently named the country's first UNESCO City of Gastronomy, Iloilo was a revelation to me on my first visit. So what does the shiny title mean? It's given to cities that use indigenous ingredients, represent cooking traditions, support sustainable production practices, have a gastronomic community, and overall respect and promote local cuisine. Iloilo City does all of the above. Delve deeper into the province and you'll find a treasure trove of dishes that are cherished by its people who will passionately and invigoratingly encourage you to try them all.
You're going to see me speechless quite a bit in this episode. I say wow and oh my god countless of times. My brain could not manage all the new information that I was learning, and my body barely made it through all the food we ate. This is probably one of the best places to come if you want a good snapshot of Western Visayan cuisine. Iloilo is a young, dynamic city that has so much potential, filled with food lovers. No wonder it's constantly rated as one of the most livable cities in the Philippines. The urban planning here makes sense, you still have some historic architecture, and you're not far from some of the country's best beaches. The province has an abundance of beautiful produce, and their cuisine is resourceful, comforting, steeped in history, having been influenced by both the Spanish colonization and Chinese trading, yet it remains uncomplicated and lets the ingredients shine. I needed a guide to help me figure this all out, so we reached out to Chef Tibong, a staunch advocate of Ilonggo cuisine and author of the recently released Flavors of Iloilo cookbook. Like any good food tour, we started off by looking at the local produce in the market.
This is called bukaka. We call it bukaka, the red one.
Really?
Yeah, we call it bukaka kasi it's opening.
Okay.
It's sweet.
And it's just eaten like a fruit, right? It's very nice. It's kind of like it's like a very
earthy,
light.
It's earthy, but
like a light guayabano.
yes, but
right?
it's earthy
Subtle.
and
And people eat this as a snack because I've seen this a few times.
This is snack. So this is the vegetable area. It's really spicy.
Yeah.
Very spicy.
Because a lot of these now are the ones that come from Taiwan, apparently.
Yes. And that's the batuan.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes.
You guys use batuan quite a bit also.
Yes, for our sour ingredients. Because what's the best with batuan is that it's not so sour. So this is the meat section.
And what would you say is the primary protein that people eat here?
The native chicken.
Native
The
chicken.
Ilonggos are fan of native chicken. We used to have our stall there. So almost our family have run it.
Ah, okay. So you know how to butcher everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
okay.
my dad would scold me if I touch a knife or something, you know.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning po, kumusta?
After a tour of the market, it was time to try an amazing eatery next to the river.
Can you tell me about where we are now?
Yeah, we're now at Nora's Eatery. They started from 1969. This is the second generation owner already. This is a well-known place, especially for office workers and the people who travels from out of town. They would have their breakfast or brunch at Nora's Eatery.
What's your favorite thing?
Usually they have this in adobadong catfish, alimusan.
Oh wow, okay, nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
You know, and of course the inihaw na baboy. And of course these are just traditional way of cooking.
You have some Tagalog
And-
ones, some
yes.
grilled ones,
Yes.
but some Ilonggo dishes also,
Yes,
right?
and the only good part of our grilling is we only use salt.
Okay.
We don't marinate them thoroughly so that we will be able to
Really taste the food. This is what I love about coming to the province, is I never know where to start. There's always so much.
start with soup.
Start with soup? Okay. Start with soup.
Usually we call our soup here na sinabawan.
Sinabawan.
Yeah, that's with batuan and kamatis only.
The fish is very fatty.
Yes,
and it's
the head, the
it's
head
the mata.
part.
Yes.
It's the sinabawan. So it's not too sour?
No,
It's
not
just,
at all. So what would you say is kind of like the signature of Ilonggo food?
It's never complex. Our food is never complex. As you can see, the flavor of the fish is there. Simply cooked, traditional.
So there's a real, like what we saw in the market, there's a real pride behind ingredients, I feel.
We always would appreciate our fisher folks and even farmers.
So after soup, what would you recommend?
We call this pinamalhan.
Pinamahal?
Pinamalhan.
Han. Pinamalhan.
It's paksiw.
Okay.
So, but it's made from ginger. Abo is a kind of fish that doesn't taste anything.
Okay.
Wala talaga siyang lasa. But you have to sun-dry it until it gets rotten.
Rotten? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it becomes the most flavorful fish.
That's where all the complexity comes
yes.
from. Okay.
Because of the fermentation.
Yeah.
Self-fermentation.
Now
Very much
I'm
so.
really curious.
Yes. It's a soft, delicate.
So this is, you said, cooked with ginger.
Yes, and as usual, tuba vinegar, and garlic.
The texture is extremely surprising.
Yes.
So that definitely comes from decomposition.
Yes.
So it's like almost powdery, grainy.
Yes. And this one is paklay. It's from coconut beef. Sometimes they use the souring ingredients, which is kamyas, but it's really good. Crunchy.
Some sugar in there.
Yes. The food of Ilonggo, it's typically cooked almost the same, except they just add a few, but it's not a fusion thing.
But I think what's really important here to note, it's extremely well cooked.
Yes.
Like it's not overcooked vegetables.
Yes.
It's really cooked right. There's a bit of crunch to it and bite,
Yes.
which is really important. I like that a lot.
You can try their version of the chicken pork adobo. It's in a chuete.
Same process, right? Vinegar, laurel leaves,
Yes.
garlic.
Everything.
everything.
Except
Achuete.
with the chuete oil.
So
Achuete.
started with the chuete oil.
Yes.
And more particularly, it's native chicken, right?
Yes, it's native chicken.
So why the love of native chicken?
Well, basically, siguro abundant.
This for me is calling me because I love stuff like
Yes,
this.
it's puso, ensilada nga puso sang saging. Very good appetizer.
Yeah.
There's a sweetness, but
Yeah,
not
it
too
just
sweet.
opens everything
Yeah.
up. And then there's a nice, I mean the tuba vinegar is
Yeah, and it
key.
bursts with
Correct.
good flavor.
Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
try that
this
with the
is-
pork. This
yes.
is so this is what you're saying you come here for.
Yes. Inihaw na baboy.
I mean simple, but
Salt.
when well done,
Yes,
it
it's
changes
salt.
everything. Okay, last bite.
That's another appetizer.
Let's try that.
Oh, me and my pork.
This is labanos, right? Labanos and palaya.
Yeah.
Very nice. They pair perfectly with fatty food, and you're like you want to keep going for some fat,
Yes.
balance it out with
Really
some
balance
vinegar,
out, yes.
some. So fish, same as the pork, just grilled with salt. What's the name of this fish?
Dalupani.
Talupani.
Yes.
Okay. It's the first time I actually tried that. It's
Yes. It's really good, right?
really good. Filipino food lives in extremes,
Yes.
right? Sometimes very salty, sometimes very vinegary. Sometimes I feel like there's an over-appreciation for something that's incredibly sour, or
Yes.
something that's incredibly salty. But I've always been a fan of cuisines that kind of live in the middle, and I feel like
It's a balance.
it's really well balanced. Like, and it's very coherent. Also,
Yes.
how the dishes all come together. Wow.
It's really good.
I mean, this is.
Here's more.
Thank you for such a great start to the day.
This is just the first stop.
I know. I know.
We'll have more.
I'm gonna try to keep some space.
After a very fresh introduction to the cuisine, Tibong brought me to one of his childhood favorites. His father had a butchery in the market, so this was a quick, hearty meal that people who work around here gravitate towards. Owned by the Igbante family since 1969, the space is snuggled into the central market's outskirts. It's a smoky spot that emits an aroma that tells you what's cooking inside, even from the sidewalk.
So what was your first memory coming here to Cyril's?
Well, in the 70s, my dad brought me here and had pork chop.
Yeah. What's this? That
That's
looks really
Arroz
good.
Valenciana.
Ah, really?
Yes.
All right. So tell me about this place.
They've been open since 1969 or something.
Also, okay.
My first experiences with my dad. So because this is my dad's friend also. I mean, almost all the Ilonggos come here.
Yeah.
Basically, they have this biga they're famous for. The linaga
Yeah.
and the pork chop, which we would usually use.
Banana ketchup.
Banana
Yep,
ketchup.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
It's always banana ketchup.
And then arroz
Arroz Valenciana.
and okoy.
Yes, this is
like
open, but this is lobo lobo. It's a very small fish. It's like silvery fish.
Okay.
Then you just put
Like
butter.
a fish
in it,
patty.
yeah.
Okay.
Then you dip it with the sinama.
Cinema. Okay, nilaga first.
Nilaga.
Beautiful.
Right?
I
Simple.
mean, simple. The salt in the broth really comes through.
Yes. And very soft meat. Yes.
The meat is extremely tender,
Yeah.
and there's no residual fattiness.
Yes.
It's a very clean broth. Biga
This
biga.
one, biga. Rectum.
Rectum. So this is the.
Yes, yes.
This is not even the butt. It's inside of the butt.
Inside of the bat.
What animal?
Pork.
Okay.
Really good.
No offal
Yeah.
flavor. No aftertaste. No clinging oiliness.
Yes.
Like really nice and clean. Okay. Arroz Valenciana.
Yes.
This makes me smile to see this on a menu. Just because I mean it just showcases Spanish heritage
Yes.
in the most inconspicuous of ways, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like very in a carinderia. You have arroz valenciana.
And this is not strong flavored so that you can eat it with the dishes. So it's simple, but
So lots of turmeric in there. With liver.
yeah,
Chopped up
liver, chicken, anything you want.
Okay, I'm gonna try the paktu.
Yeah, you turn paksiw. It's so
It
good.
looks so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the way he makes it with
Wow.
paksiw, right? And you know what, everyone?
I grew up eating the paktu that's like drenched in mamutamas.
Yes. And this one, ever since we would eat here, you know what's the best part with the eateries here in Iloilo? 10 years ago, when you come back, it's still the same. They've maintained the flavors.
So the
That's why,
generations
that's why they were
maintain
able to sustain their business because of the way they cook it.
Yeah.
So it's passed on from one generation.
Try
The
this
lobo
first.
lobo.
So a type of like white bait silverfish.
Yes. Good, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit of flour.
Yes.
This is pork chop.
Yeah, it's just
with
regular
banana
pork
ketchup.
chop actually.
I mean, I can tell why you kind of keep coming here.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has an experience to it. What I love about this is it's a very different array of dishes from the last one.
Yeah.
In terms of how they cook it, in terms of the flavor, how developed the flavor is.
Yes.
That one was playing with a lot of acid, a lot of subtlety. This one's a bit more bold, earthy, kind of like
They have their own
meaty
distinct flavors when you go from one place.
So this is all the dried fish.
Yes, dried fish. It comes from Estancia, from Carles.
Wow.
These are all products of. That's labahita. That's the best substitute for bacalao.
Bacalao.
Yes, bacalao.
They use that in Cavite a lot.
Yes.
Bacalao.
And this one is the kalkag, which is usually used for vegetable soup.
And then that's the ginamos.
Yeah, that's the ginamos.
Try it. So just raw like this.
Yes.
Okay, I've never actually tried
It's
it.
small one. Small.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. See, it gives a distinct flavor. It's
Ooh.
not too salty. It's good for your pakbit.
Yeah. I
You have to
it has
bring this home. You have to bring this home.
It has I can't put my finger on it.
This is what makes Batchoy very good.
There's a certain kind of like I can't put my finger on it, but
It's fermented,
Yeah.
but not too strong.
yeah,
And the flavor is not
it's not cloying.
Yes.
I mean it's very powerful.
powerful, but
Yeah.
especially the smell, but it does not
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes,
stay or
stay,
stick.
yes.
And so these are what?
small oyster. Sisi.
Sisi,
Remember you
okay.
ate the tuning, the
And this
small
is
ones?
with vinegar.
Yes, vinegar
Okay.
or salted water.
Got it.
So here we also have different,
Wow, this is.
this is tocino.
I've actually never seen that.
Yeah, it's a tocino. It's salmonete, used for paksiw.
Okay.
But this time they fillet it and put some caramel in it.
And then this is just eaten as can it be eaten as a snack
Yeah,
also?
you just
or?
fry it and pwede rin siya makaon hilaw. Hindi.
Hindi.
You have to fry
Fry it talaga?
Yeah, fry it.
Okay.
talaga.
I don't think people realize how incredibly organized this dried fish session is.
Yes.
It is almost immaculate. Like if you look at the packaging on the top,
Yes.
it's immaculate. color coordinated almost.
Yes.
And it's not just this stall, it's every stall. Like, so when you walk through here, it's a nice experience.
Yes.
Like, it actually feels like something you want to buy a lot from. Not something like, oh, it smells like dried fish, I want to get out of here.
Yes.
You take time. And for me, just the patterns, like, of how the dried fish are made and everything, it's just, it's gorgeous. Look at that.
Even, yes, it's beautiful.
Like, it's beautiful. Like, especially that, it looks like little flowers.
It's time for chicken, and Rawit is the place to be. Their stall in the market has been selling dressed native chicken called darag for the last 35 years. A decade ago, owners Jesus Haneo Jr. and wife Evangeline decided to start serving their lechon manok, and I am so thankful for that. The already tastier native chicken is meticulously cleaned before being rubbed in a paste of spices, salt, and lemongrass, marinated in vinegar and calamansi, then stuffed with more lemongrass before being doused in a flavorful achuete oil. It's a masterpiece, and when paired with the drama of the market, a feast for all the senses. Honestly, one of the best chicken dishes in the country.
Okay.
So this is really how it's served. No utensils.
Yes,
just in hands.
literally
Okay.
like that. So there we go with the sinamak. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's an old...
Filtered already?
Yeah, filtered, yes.
So usually, how old do these go for? That was one of my questions.
If you want this color or the peppers to stay long, you have to refill it. Don't let it dry out. Do the honors.
Okay.
Just break it. It's still hot.
Piping.
Yeah.
So just hold. I might need your help here. There you go.
There.
And then dip.
Yeah, dip. If you want to try it without dipping it so that you extinguish the...
What? Super tender.
Real good
Wow.
chicken.
Yeah. I mean, the chicken in itself makes an amazing difference. The lemongrass is there, but not crazy amounts.
No, yeah.
Marinade,
Not too much.
it's not like acidic or anything. Keeps it nice and juicy. I would personally eat this over any other grilled chicken. Like, it's really tasty.
Yes.
You could probably eat one of these alone, easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that much meat also, right? And so this is open all day?
Yeah. By around 4 o'clock, they would serve beer and ihaw.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's like a
So
you can
it's a true market,
it's a true market.
a true meeting
Yes,
place of
yes.
people. That's amazing.
And this is where I do my tabuan before.
Okay.
I will set up the place and give them this, have different dishes.
Prepared here
Yeah,
and brought here.
prepared here,
Ah,
yes.
nice. So good. I'm literally pulling it off, and right away it exposes the lemongrass. It
Yes,
just shows you
lemongrass.
how what little meat there is extremely flavorful.
Yes.
Man, it's like 10:30 a.m.
This is our
It's the third stop right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes tourists around the country have a hard time finding good food. Just like any other city, you can find good and bad, but Iloilo proves itself as a place where good food is all over and always accessible. Another must-try is Beige Eatery. Put up by a former OFW with a love for cooking and perfection, the place gets packed because of its consistency, heritage Ilonggo dishes, and fresh seafood.
Ako pala si Bruce Buenape, yung cook at saka may-ari ng Beige Eatery na to. Paano ko naisipan tong gawin tong eatery na to? Kasi OFW dati ako, trailer driver ako sa Saudi. Nakita ko nung napapagod na rin, kaya naisipan kong umuwi. Sabi nila, marunong daw akong magluto, kaya yun. Sinimulan kong magluto ng pakunti-kunti, yung nagsimula sa maliit, hanggang sa ganito nakalaki ngayon. Ang advantage kasi pag ikaw yung owner at saka ikaw yung nagluluto, alam mo yung mga gusto mo. Hindi mo inaasa sa iba. Gaya ng isda, kailangan laging sariwa. Pinipili mo yung magandang klaseng karne, baboy, at lahat-lahat, yung mga condiments. Kaya mas maganda yung ikaw na yung nagluluto, ikaw pa yung namamilengke, ikaw pa yung the same time, owner ka rin. Kasi alam mo yung paano magpatakbo. Kaya pag nagsimula kayong magnegosyo, simulan mo na. Kung kailangan karinderya, marunong ka magluto. Kung barbershop, marunong ka gumupit. Paano pag laging absent yung mga tauhan mo, gaya niya, no? Masisira negosyo mo. Pag hindi ka inline talaga.
Fourth stop. Why is Iloilo seen as kind of like really popular for its seafood?
Well, basically, we have where the bounties of the seas were surrounded. The island of Panay is surrounded by oceans. And Rojas, being the seafood capital of the Philippines, has also a lot of abundant seafood.
How far is Rojas from here?
It's around 2 hours, 2 hours drive. From
Okay.
here. It's just 2 hours.
Okay, so what do we have in front of us here?
Well, let's start with this. This is the linatik. We just boil the kalabasa, cook it with shrimp, and we put malunggay and sitaw.
Yum.
Yeah.
And then this is the scallops.
That's the scallop, you just sauteed it. Well, of course, now they use oyster sauce possibly. It's like in adobo without satsuete.
And would you say all the seafood's kind of interchangeable?
Yes, I
Like on
think
the preparation?
so. Yes,
This is the first thing I've tried today that tastes more on the Chinese side.
yes. Because we're the influence of the Chinese us also. This one is the unborn egg and intestine of the chicken. Chicken biga-biga.
Okay.
It's in adobo in atsuete again.
I had a hard time picturing what an unborn. So it's not like balut or anything like that.
No, it's really like an ova. It's ova thing that it's clear that you can see the yolk.
okay.
It's quite delicate
Yeah.
to look at. And then when you cook it, it just hardens. It's like hard-boiled egg. So this is very exotic for some
For a lot of people.
but yes. But quite good though.
The flavor is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the adobo style sauce.
Yes. So
Has a
you have the
vinegar.
liking now of the adobo
I really like
Ilonggo.
it. Yeah, I do.
Yes. It's a wrong notion that our food is sweet. Sometimes they use sugar because they don't want to use MSG.
Is this something like, would you say kind of like the younger generation? Are they also
Yeah, they do.
really into kind of the local food?
Yeah. You know, my grandniece, you know what she likes to eat? Linaga, local cuisines.
At this point, I couldn't really eat much anymore, so Tibong thought it would be nice and a good idea to eat some cakes to reset our palates, and Maridel's is the place to be.
Everyone I talk to about going to Iloilo, by the way, you've become an institution. She's a little camera shy, but she's here.
Yes.
Everyone told me to come by here for two specific things. The first being the duck pao, and then a lot of people actually talked about the guava pie, which we'll get tomorrow, but also the Snickers pie. Let's try this.
This banoffee.
This is the banoffee.
Yeah, this is Snickers
Oh my
pie
God.
and this.
This is
Try the
really
banoffee.
cakes.
Uh-huh.
The banana is almost ice cream like.
Yes.
And you freeze it. It's so nice. Yeah. Snickers pie. This looks incredible.
It's terrible.
So this is sugar-free, right?
No, sugar food.
That's rich, but delicious. It
It's
actually
good.
It does feel like a much better Snicker. And this
Okay,
is the
next.
duck pao.
That's my favorite, the duck pao. Should give a big bite.
Should I?
Yeah. The bread.
Wow.
Huh?
So this one's made with lots of breadcrumbs, margarine.
You know what? I'm just smiling because
Duck
I can
adobo.
imagine it's so good. Even the bread.
Yeah, the bread's really nice. I'm being spoiled here.
Just when you thought it was over, the city keeps on giving. A food trip would not be complete without passing by Breakthrough. Started in the 80s, it is now a shining light in the region, presenting the best seafood dishes from the area in both traditional and modern ways. You can't come to Iloilo without passing through Breakthrough, and this spread was insane.
This is intense. I mean, I think everything has been intense today.
This is imbao.
Imbao,
Yeah,
yes.
it's right. It's
I actually caught some imbao in Basilan, but they were
Basilan.
not this big. Very garlicky broth, very clean. I think everyone has to just admire the size of this. Oh, it's like a one bite thing.
yeah.
This is huge. Wow.
And if you don't know how to cook imbao, it's gonna be tough.
No, that's perfectly cooked.
You gotta be too chewy. This one is just right.
Melty.
Yes.
When you break through the screen, you kind of get that release of flavor. Wow.
This one I want you to try this one first.
So this
This
is
is fresh bagoong.
Okay.
It's just
This is balayan also.
that's just the small shrimp.
Yeah.
Fresh. Then they just put the calamansi. And some pepper.
And some chili. Yeah. Wow. And so
Great
this is used
rice.
as a condiment mostly.
Yes.
I think people at this point will see that I'm visibly struggling. This has been an amazing day of eating. And I love that you still have restaurants that are kind of like just by the beach and you kind of think you're really far away from the city, but you're literally an 8-minute drive away.
Yes.
Try it. Eat balayan with the rice. What I like about the Iloilo rice, it's not just the crab fat as well. It's kind of all anything that goes around it too,
Yes.
right?
It's garlicky and
Yeah.
Now,
Raw lobster.
raw lobster, sashimi, you can have
A bit of wasabi,
wasabi,
some soy sauce.
lobster.
It's so tender. And then how do you guys eat your diwali?
Just, diwali. Just open it, simply, and it's just steamed. It's, then all you have to do is just get it steamed from the shell and eat it.
And then the dipping sauce is?
Sometimes you can have butter or
What's this?
sometimes none at all. Because the flavor of the diwali itself is really good.
So this is just like a diwali broth, right?
Yeah. It's the diwali itself by itself is really good.
Really clean.
Although you may find this in any part of the country, but it's
Not as
seldom,
often. Yeah, not as often as you'd want to, for sure.
by accident, but it's in Rojas and in Negros. They have this.
It's really
by
you see it
season,
abundant.
by season.
By season.
This is famous because
make a lot of-
they always usually would start
The trend.
serving it.
And then everyone starts doing it.
Yes, they're the trendsetter and take the fats. It's really good.
So this is a
Managa.
managat.
Yeah, that's the in thing. Before it's diwal, now it's managa.
Really? Managat's like the trendy fish?
Yes, here.
Very fatty.
Yes. It's
Wow.
good. And it's good.
That fat is
Yes.
almost meaty. It's almost like it's way fattier than like bangus.
Yes. Then there's the duck.
So this is kind of like the outlier, right? Everything is seafood.
Yes. That's good. Really good.
It's 3 p.m. now, so we've been eating nonstop for close to 10 hours. Is that I think there's an understanding of what balance and equilibrium should be in dishes,
Yes.
which I think is very kind of like a hallmark from what I understand just from today in terms of Ilonggo cuisine of just like you said, respecting the main ingredient, making sure that it's not outshined by anything else
Yes.
in the dish, and making sure that everything kind of plays well together. It kind of reminds me of how they call this the city of hearts, the city of love. It's like
there's a lot of titles.
yeah, there's like a light touch to the food. It's like a lambing touch to the food
Yes.
in terms of making sure you're taking care of it as you would a loved one, which I
has
think
a
is really
soul.
great. It has a soul, correct? Yeah.
And Ilonggo soul.
I was maybe particularly ignorant about it, but I never really heard much.
Yes.
When you come to Iloilo, yes, go after the well sought out popular dishes that you've probably heard and read about 1,000 times, and that are probably very well recorded in guidebooks and online websites and things. But feel free to kind of stray away from them as well in terms of going for the vegetable dishes, the salads, the innards, the offal, because I feel like those are really what paint a true picture of the everyday kind of like dishes that people really truly appreciate here. So I mean, hopefully this guide was useful to people who are watching it, and hopefully people get to try everything we tried today. But not in one day. Don't do it in one day. Do it in 5 days, and you'll be way better off.
Do it in a week. Stay in Iloilo for a week.
After exploring the subtleties and varieties of Ilonggo cuisine in Iloilo with Chef Tibong, Martin and I stuffed ourselves crazy with some of the best eats in the city where locals love to eat.
Can you feel the ridges of the tongue?
Yes.
Blessed with brackish waters, Iloilo is abundant in seafood. With Talabahan or oyster stands selling the freshest and most affordable ones, we just had to give the crowd favorite Koning's Talabahan a try.
First meal, steamed oysters, niso fish, I believe. Niso? Lison, L-I-S-O-N.
Lison.
This looks actually perfectly grilled. And then you've got
The soup.
of the lison. Not paying attention at all.
Sinigang na lison. Let me serve you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so kind of you. Yum. So this is a start of our whole Iloilo adventures, and there's lots of roadside eateries over here with Talabahan.
This street also has some really good lechon spots but only open one day a week. At Koning's, oysters and lison take center stage. The oysters are fresh and steamed to perfection to give you a juicy bite that bursts with the flavors of the sea, but you can also get them raw if you like. But I've always preferred steamed or grilled locally. The overflowing lison fish are usually dried in Iloilo, but we had to try it grilled and simply seasoned with soy sauce and calamansi.
It's really perfectly cooked. So cool. It's not dry.
Fuck, that's good. That was so well grilled.
Yeah.
Super tender. So much smokiness in there. So these were steamed slightly just to open them up. And that dipped in the cinnamon. I made kinilaw using oysters, and that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, right? Salamat po, thank you. We got a bottle of cinnamon. Ah, don't kill me!
Time for a bowl of innards that will send you in a spin and keep you full until the next day. Salam Ukan is a gem. Its owner Boyet was cooking a traditional Filipino nilaga when he accidentally spilled a citrus soda in his dish. This accident turned blessing in disguise birthed the Salam Ukan or patalinaga. The winning dish is a bowl of spicy and comforting carabao meat stew with beef tendon, heart, brain, and tripe with a slight sourness to it. It takes 4 hours of boiling to make this hearty bowl, so you can imagine how everything in this dish comes together. Salam Ukan directly means to choke in English. The saying goes, it's so delicious it'll make you want to choke, which I don't really understand 100%, but I'll take it.
It looks super pretty though.
It's the halo.
I mean, this is something that's been cooked for hours, you can tell.
Yeah, man. Do you feel like after eating this, you'll have the energy?
To have sex?
I don't know, to work. I mean, not everything has to be. Ako feeling ko, I'll be
really
very
like-
sleepy.
Yeah, me too. A lot of fat, a lot of collagen. The innards though are really well cooked. Like, look at that.
It's the brain, right?
That's the brain.
That one, right?
Creamy. You get the sweetbreads in there as well. That beef is kind of like falling off the bone. Yum. A little bit of acidity there and there.
Can you say if this is a thicker version of Lotong Batangas?
This is the eye.
There.
I haven't had eye in a while. That eye socket has so much kind of like of that gelatin. It's pure collagen. Good for your eyes. I think after this, we need some coffee
Yeah.
and some snacks before we hit the next meal. Okay, the next one's pretty far from here, so.
Oh my God.
For a quick break, we headed to Iloilo House Coffee. This specialty cafe has been serving good coffee since 2017 in the Villa District. And this area feels very different from the rest of the city.
Should we just walk like we don't know each other? Like.
After taking it slow to explore the faces and beauty of Iloilo, we went to the neighbor cafe. And everyone had to try their famous Oregano and their classic Spanish latte.
I was not ready for this Siopao. In the streets of Calle Real stands Roberto's Siopao, the oldest and tastiest Siopao in Iloilo. The business started as a small Chinese restaurant in 1978 and gradually rose to fame because of their unusual but delicious siopao fillings. The reigning largest and most popular dish is Roberto's Queen Siopao, filled with Chinese sausage, chicken pork adobo, bacon, and eggs. Just one bite and you'll know why Roberto's secured its spot as an Iloilo icon.
Dude, it's like
Really spongy. Chunks of onion in there, lots of pork. That's really good. Roberto's was considered an institution apparently here. So many people told us to come here, mainly for their siopao.
You know, sometimes siopao, it can be very heavy and dense. But this one, parang okay siya.
Look at that.
Boom. Oh my God.
Holy fuck. I haven't had a really good siopao in a long, long time.
No. Yeah, for me,
Lots of
sometimes
sauce.
the siopao that you get, it's so pasty, it turns into paste.
Yeah.
But this one, it's still spongy, soft. It's still bread.
Yet, the filling retains so much sauce. I mean, I think that's why the bottom was kind of like sticking a little bit,
Yeah.
because it's filled with lots of sauce.
But it's so good.
This is possibly one of the best things I've eaten today, honestly. Honestly, this is next level siopao. If you do come to Iloilo City, you need to try out this place. So our next stop is not far from here. It's a place called Buhoy?
Buho.
We're terrible with names today. So we're done here. We're gonna go over to Buho Bakery.
Buho Bakery is literally a hole in the wall in a dark street with nothing else on it. Started off as a nameless bakery in the 1960s, where you had to talk to the staff through a tiny hole in the wall, earning its name Buho, or hole in English. Through time, the owner started opening its doors to dine-in customers, delivering on the promise of serving daily Filipino bread and pastries hot from the oven.
I'm here too.
And everyone's here.
By the way, if you're wondering,
Oh God.
this is an electrical bike.
Yeah,
How
we're
cool
in
is that?
An e-bike.
I'm gonna start with the panso.
Okay.
She mentioned that this was their best seller, but usually the bigger one. And it's still warm. This is the one she just took out.
There's panso big and panso small.
Kind of like pan de regla.
Ah, the bread's so good.
Yeah. Very Filipino flavor in terms of the texture, the consistency, but it's something that I personally grew up eating. It's really tasty actually. This is pan de, it looks like a pan de leche. Ah, this is the pogi.
Really? No, I think that's the leche. This one's the pogi.
I like that. This one's cool, kind of like a little heart shape. Monai, classic.
Ah,
But look at that, that's been sitting there for a while, and it just
so moist. Crazy.
very
Wala
well
tayong
done.
kape, sayang.
Yeah, this one, ooh, really crusty.
I think that's pogi.
Ah, this is the pogi. This is my favorite one. There's something to it. It's like almost like a creamy
It's a mix of
pastillas.
margarine, sugar, some milk powder, and breadcrumbs for sure.
6 p.m. A lot of people will probably say this video feels incredibly incomplete.
If you're in this region, barbecue has to be on your list. Both Bacolod and Iloilo have inasal. There's a slight difference in taste and presentation though. Iloilo is usually a whole chicken and slightly sweeter, but not always. Lines get increasingly blurred now with how information is shared, and it's hard to determine who started what. The place to go is at Fort San Pedro, but we found the busy street of Valeria, and it's a barbecue wonderland. In Iloilo, I realized that people also prefer to call it barbecue, whereas in Bacolod, they call it inasal. Semantics. For something a bit more adventurous, go for the pork tongue and mascara. The barbecue stalls at Valeria will not disappoint you at night.
What do we have? What do we
Because
have?
of course we have to get the chicken.
Dalawa?
Just one, man. Okay.
Yempo.
Yes. And then pork mask.
Where's pork mask?
Right.
Actually, I feel like we should live a little, Marts, and go for some pork tongue.
Okay.
Have you ever had pork tongue? I've never had pork tongue.
Me too.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Let's start with
This
tongue.
is mascara.
I'm a tongue guy.
Okay.
Can you feel the ridges of the tongue?
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, the texture is kind of weird.
So you can really taste how sour it is. Like the acid has completely permeated through the barbecue. This was the pork limpo, which became tiny.
Try the dip. It's really nice. Try the vinegar.
The whole point of today's video is to kind of try places where locals go, and as you can tell, it's absolutely packed with
There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Shout out the native chicken.
I want to try it because it was raw. It wasn't like pre-boiled.
Exactly.
It's gonna be impressive if it doesn't fight back too much.
Most native chicken you'll have is either fried chicken or in soups and stuff like that.
I love this one.
Not chewy.
High heat.
Oh my god.
I love it. It's great.
That was really good. This is probably one of the few cities I've seen in the Philippines where at night they illuminate the monuments. If you walk by the riverside or by the old Capitol or by the plaza that they have over there, the church, the buildings are really nicely lit. And because I think it's such a walkable city, because they've won so many awards and being kind of like one of the cleanest cities, tourism cities, I really appreciate kind of like how they care about that image.
Right. It's really amazing because the streets are so busy, but they still maintain the cleanliness, orderliness.
So just to show you guys, it's possible.
An Iloilo food trip wouldn't be complete without its signature dish, the Pancit Molo. Similar to Chinese wonton, Pancit Molo is a comforting soup with flavorful molo balls. Before we headed back to Manila, we asked the locals for their best Pancit Molo spots and found out why the soup is on top of Iloilo's gastronomic choices. We'd always just go to a popular spot like Kapising's, operating since the 1920s, but we were after something a bit more homey. And we were sent to Kalan PH, an unassuming restaurant that serves handmade Pancit Molo and burgers. This unlikely combination might just be our next go-to meal.
We heard of this place called Kalan PH where they serve both burgers and molos. Extremely strange combination, but
I'll take it.
And apparently the molo here is really authentic, really legit.
Right.
You can tell it's a nice clear broth. The shrimp heads are kind of like mashed into there. The dumplings are made fresh.
All right.
And then they added wonton wrappers.
And they make it fresh every order. They don't have like a big batch running. And even the molos, they wrap it like every morning.
Oh my god. You can tell the dumplings really fresh, bouncy, perfect amount, have like a filling.
Yeah.
The broth is clear, but so flavorful.
Reminds me of the Happy Days.
The people who don't know Pancit Molo, obviously, from Chef Molo here in Iloilo, probably inspired or influenced by Chinese traders that came through the city at one point through the riverways. There's no actual pancit or noodles, but you do put kind of like the dried wonton wrappers cut thinly, kind of looks like noodles, right? First time I've ever seen a whole head in shrimp last minute, but it really does add a lot of flavor to it. I'm happy we decided to come here. It feels homey. It feels homey, and that's a huge, huge difference. Right. Excuse us, we only have one camera since the rest of the team is still in Gibalas. The burgers were the random part, but since they're so prominent on the menu.
Yeah, I mean, the logo is a burger, so.
Most of the places that we kind of featured in our crawl were very much the OG kind of local spots that a lot of people go to. Not necessarily all the Ilonggo food, but very Ilonggo experience. But let's not forget that Iloilo has probably thousands of restaurants. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this many restaurants in such a small vicinity. It looks like people eat out a lot. And so that means there's probably also really good kind of like international food, not just Filipino, which is why I wanted to try these burgers. This one has a McDo vibe to it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example of use the list that we provided you as a starting guide. Don't be afraid to check out new places. There's a bunch of like modern Ilonggo food places popping up also. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. But we did feature some of these kind of like very popular local joints. March featured the best of Batchoy, the best Batchoy places in the city. And I did a ridiculous food crawl of Ilonggo dishes and seafood. I don't even know how I'm still eating. But all in all, I think it's been a fairly successful trip.
Right. And one thing I learned from everyone going around with everyone and Cleo, it's always a great idea to walk around. Because that's when you see, you're meant to go to Biscocha House and then you see a nice cafe beside it and give it a tighter out. It's great.
Right?
And this one,
yeah,
this is a great example.
It's very different from
where we were, which is mostly like big streets and everything.
Right.
Come into this area, smaller streets, a bit more local, pretty good vibe.
A lot of students.
Our food is delicious.
Of course, you can't say you've been to Iloilo if you didn't get to enjoy a savory bowl of batchoy. Naturally, Martin had to try some of the best ones in the city, and he tried not just one, but 5 versions of this local favorite.
There are some variations to the dish, but essentially, batchoy is a soup dish made with pork offal, crushed pork cracklings, pork broth, beef loin, deep fried garlic, spring onions, and round noodles. Its most popular version can be traced from the district of La Paz in Iloilo, hence its name, Paz Batchoy. There are multiple accounts that allude to the inventor of this aromatic soup, but none of them have been conclusive. One version credits Domingo Ingo Lozada, who supposedly invented the dish in 1920 after being inspired by Chinese peddlers who sold the noodle soup. Another credits Federico Gilergan Sr., who started Deco's Batchoy in 1938 before the Second World War. There's also Teodorico Ted Lepura, who sold his batchoy at the La Paz Public Market in 1945. And then, there are some who say that the dish can be traced back to the Chinese community in La Paz, since the word batchoy is maybe derived from the Hokkien Chinese word batchoy, which means meat soup. One thing remains to be clear. This dish has held a special spot in the culinary and cultural heritage of not just the province of Iloilo, but of the Philippines as a whole. And having said that, I was so excited to devour my first bowl of batchoy at Deco's.
Nung nagsimula niya ng lolo ko, dito sa La Paz Public Market, nasa 10 to 20 centavos lang per bowl. Ang kaibahan lang namin sa ibang batchoy ay yung recipe noon hanggang ngayon hindi namin pinalitan.
Para sa'yo, ano yung dapat parang quality ng batchoy?
Yung sa sabaw, ang talagang lasa ng batchoy is yung nag-aagawan yung tamis at saka alat.
Kailangan malinaw daw yung sabaw.
Malinaw yung sabaw.
Importante din talaga. Ang linis ng lasa. Parang kahit mainit, okay lang eh. Napansin ko din agad, yung mga laman loob, wala yung aftertaste, tas eto, sobrang lambot. Alam mo, first stop pa lang to, pero parang uubusin ko to. Starting off strong. Tapos na tayo dito sa Decos, syempre kailangan din nating hanapin yung iba pang lapas batchoy. To, dito naman tayo sa Netong's. Napakalayo, init-init sa labas.
Located just a few steps from Deco's, Netong's was founded by Leonito Netong Gilergan in 1948. Yes, not only are the founders of Deco's and Netong's related, they're also both managed by the 3rd generation today.
So for our second stop, it's Netong's. It's the owner is actually the brother, the great-grandfather of Jan, the current manager of Deco's. The difference that I see, they put in some raw eggs. It was mentioned that one of the things that you look for in batchoy is clear broth. This one, it becomes murky, slightly thick because of the eggs. It's definitely going to be a bit different. So overall, this has a stronger garlic flavor. Of course, it's richer because of the egg yolks and the egg whites. Soup's great, tastes clean. I don't know if it's just this bowl, but it doesn't have that much intestines like the last one. Overall, still very good. You know? We asked around this place, Netong's has aircon. It's because they are currently renovating the main palengke. And I heard it's gonna take a few years, like 2 to 3 years. So if you want a more comfortable setting, ones with air conditioning, then Netong's would be good.
For our next stop, we headed to Ted's old-timer La Paz Batchoy. 78 years since its conception, Ted's continues to be one of the go-to places for those craving for a bowl of authentic batchoy. So of course, I had to try their version.
Give it a bit of a taste. Soup first. It's a bit sweet. It's balanced out with the sweetness. And as for the broth, it's not the usual clear. And I feel like it's from the color of the noodles too. Noodles. Honestly, I like how they cook the noodles. There's a good bite. It's not like pasty or like overcooked like some of the noodles that we tasted so far. Overall, okay.
As we continued our search for the best batchoy in the city, we found ourselves at Popoy's.
We are at our fourth stop. It's Popoy's Batchoy. Fun fact, they actually won Best Batchoy in the first Iloilo Batchoy Festival. Soup's pretty good. Perfect blend of sweet and salty. The garlic isn't too overpowering and I think it's perfect. So what really sets apart the batchoys here from the ones that we get in the city is they use this thing called aginamos. It's also fermented shrimp paste, but it's finer and it tends to be drier than the usual oily bagoong that we have.
Are you full?
Yes, but happy.
Paano yung happy?
After 4 servings of batchoy, I was stuffed. But the team wanted to make sure we made the most out of this batchoy crawl, and so we went to Alicia's restaurant.
So we're here at Alicia's Special Batchoy. It's the last stop, but I'm still super excited to taste what they have. Damn. Alright. Ano to? Oh, they even have chili sauce. Alright, so let's get to it. Kapagod din palang kumain. Honestly, it's super good. I like it because it's not too sweet. Some of the batchoy that we tasted was slightly sweet for my taste. Laman loob. You know, the offals are still very soft but cooked the whole way through. That's great. This also has intestines. Like the last 3 batchoys that I had didn't have it, but still it was cooked perfectly. Everyone else served pepper or white pepper, but they have chili sauce. I'm gonna try it. It's very spicy. So Alicia's restaurant, it's actually, they offer a lot of things. Meron silang seafood paluto. They also have like other savory food. But of course, we're here for the batchoy. And so far, so good. We're in Mamaka, finishing the day off with some frozen yogurt. They only have this in Iloilo. This is called like the Iloilo Special, I think. So we went through 5 places that serve the best batchoys here in Iloilo. I love them all, but if I were to say my favorite, number 1 would be Deco's, because they were able to find that great balance between sweetness and saltiness. Most of them were a little bit too sweet for me. Again, this is just for me. Number 2 would be Alicia's. Must have been the noodles, the way it was cooked. But all in all, super great. Now the point of best of will always be to show you the best batchoys, not the best batchoy.
The secret to a good batchoy, as with any dish, lies in the balance of flavors. To achieve that, one ingredient stands out: salt. No flavor without salt. We went to Miagao to check out a rare bamboo salt known as Budbud and spoke with Lee, who at the time of our filming was the last woman hacindero practicing this tradition in this area.
Located in the province of Iloilo, Miagao is a coastal town with a salt-making tradition that dates back as early as 1823. In its glory days, the town produced up to 10,000 sacks of budbud, or salt, annually in the salt farms spread across the coastline of its 21 villages. Always, the heirloom tradition would be a sight to behold, a process that cannot be seen anywhere else in the world. Today, Miagao's salt-making tradition is on the verge of becoming a distant memory. Several hacinderos have turned their backs on it after shorelines have become more sparse because of climate change and the establishment of seawalls. The younger generation also lost interest in the art due to its laborious process. 195 years have since passed after Miagao began harvesting salt. Today, only one woman remains to take the helm in reviving the town's dying budbud sea salt industry.
Ako si Lorly Paguntalan Noblisada, isang registered social worker, 47 years old, taga Miagao, Iloilo, na ngayon po ay isang asendera na kung saan po ay gumagawa ng budbud sea salt. Yung Miagao na Budbud salt, ito ay nagsimula pa noong 1820s. Naririyan pa naman kami sa, may barter pa rin kami hanggang ngayon. Halimbawa, ang lore, may mais kami at saging. Pwede bang magpalitan tayo ng asin? Okay. Halimbawa, yung salangkugi namin at balunos, ano lang yan, barter. Binibigyan nila kami ng balunos at salangkugi. So, ang kapalit niyan, asin. Yung asawa ko, yung talagang asindero at asindera sila noong unang panahon. Nasa isip niya pa rin kung paano yung paggawa ng asin, ganyan. Napakaganda kasi di ba noong 1820s pa yun, walang aklat pero na-preserve. Nare-revive mo pa rin yung kultura at tradisyon ng paggawa ng asin. Organize po kami ng mga elderly at saka mga loving mothers. So nagkaroon po ako ng proposal kay Chancellor Minda Formasyon na kung pwede makagamit po kami ng property ng UP. Noong 2018, pinatawag ako ng UP kay Ma'am Bebot Revelio na sinabihan niya ako na, Lord, nakita namin pala yung proposal mo. Ano, gusto mo pa bang gumawa ng asin? So, gingrab ko yung opportunity. Pinili ko yung pag-aasin kasi nakikita ko kung mag-aasin ka pala, ang tagal mong mamatay. Kasi wala kang sakit, di ba? Malusog ka pala dito kasi palagi kang nakalublob sa tubig dagat. Gusto kong ipakita na kailangan naming i-revive, i-preserve. Dapat bilang asindero-asindera, dapat mag-start sa iyo. Riyan ang passion mo na talagang gagawin mo po siya. Pero kung pera lang yung habol mo, hindi yan maglalast. Yung process ng paggawa namin ng asin na budbud na asin, una-una kailangan for 2 to 3 months, kailangan talaga naming linisin ang buong area. Kukunin yung mga bato, yung mga dumi-dumi, lahat. At saka after that, magkaroon na kami ng fencing. Lalagyan namin ng flaglets para malaman nila na itong lugar na ito is asinan. And then, ito yung buhangin talaga. Kailangan na diligan natin ng tubig dagat. And after that, after 1 week, so dinadala na natin itong isang row ng buhangin doon sa filtration house. Doon sa filtration house, doon ay inuugasan natin ng tubig dagat. So ngayon, dahil nag-innovate nga, so meron na siyang gripo doon na hugasan siya ng tubig dagat yung buhangin at saka ma-filter na siya. Doon na siya pupunta sa depository na tinatawag namin na kamaw. Doon na namin siya kinukuha at nilalagay sa mga blue drums. At saka sa blue drums, doon na namin kukunin naman at ilalagay doon sa may bamboo beds. And after a day or 2 days, nakadepende rin sa init ng araw at saka sa hangin. Nagmamatter rin pala yung hangin. Pag northern yung hangin at saka mainit, ay talagang ang ganda. Pero pag ang init ng araw makulimlim at saka yung hangin is southern, so hindi siya talaga mag-solidify. So napakahalaga na very observant ka bilang asendera o asendero at saka malalaman mo kung may ma-harvest ba tayo ngayon o wala. Mula naman doon sa may bamboo beds o duyduyan, hindi mag-harvest na tayo. After harvest, whole night siyang ilalagay natin dyan sa may depository kasi basa pa yan. And then, after a day, nilalagay namin sa may drying facility na nasa net. Doon naman natin siya nilalagay for 1 day. And then doon na tayo pupunta sa ating roasting house. Dati wala kaming roasting house. Pero dahil sa training namin sa food safety, kailangan talaga na i-roasted yung asin to kill the impurities. And then, doon na tayo magpa-packaging. Yung 500 grams is 100 pesos. Noong 2018, nung nagsimula kami, meron pa namang nagbubudbud dyan sa Barangay Gibungan. Kaso lang yung sa kanila kasi, nitong mga 2023 na, parang nagkaroon na sila ng dying na po talaga. Kasi yung lugar nila doon, may seawall. So wala na silang shoreline na paggawaan ng asin. Very significant role po kasi ang buhangin sa amin kasi ito yung masala o nagfi-filter ng tubig dagat. Tapos yung dyan sa mga sabayan sa Baybay Norte, Baybay Sur na dati rin nag-aasin, tumigil na rin po sila dahil na-shorten yung shoreline at saka yung seawall. Kasi dati magsabi kang summertime, tuloy-tuloy yung init. Pero ngayon hindi na siya eh. Grabe ang init sa umaga, pagkahapon uulan siya. So hindi mo talagang mahawakan na o makontrol na it's summertime, parang ganon. So yung sa akin, na-challenge ako na paano ba ako mag-innovate. Kung gusto kong i-revive ito at i-preserve, naririyan pa rin yung traditional na pamamaraan ng paggawa ng asin. Parang kumukonsult rin ako sa mga profesor ng University of the Philippines and the Visayas, sa DTI, sa DOST, sa Coastline 5023 kung ano ba yung pwede. At saka pinag-uusapan. Narinig ko ang balitang ganyan rin na nag-import pa tayo ng asin. Ang masasabi ko lang na yung ma-revive talaga yung gawaan ng asin kahit na sa ibang lugar ng Pilipinas. Halimbawa yung magtulungan, sana magtulungan yung mga asindero na ibalik talaga eh. At saka siguro yung focus ng government. Kasi kung minsan ang focus ng government, bakit mag-asin pa ba tayo kung pwede malang tayo makabili sa ibang bansa? Siguro parang may mindset sila na ganun. Pero kung sa akin lang sana through LGU, magtulungan na makapunta ka sa ibang lugar, tulungan mo sila. Bilang registered social worker, ito na talaga yung buhay ko eh. Gusto ko talaga maging asendera kasi nandito yung passion ko. Yung lugar na asinan na ito nagbibigay sa amin ng avenue na rine-revive yung dying industry, maipasa ko sa next generation at saka magkaroon siya ng social impact. I'm proud talaga and it's a privilege na maging asendera.
These are just a few of the heirloom ingredients, dishes, encounters, and stories that we will cherish from our visit to Iloilo. The more we reminisce about them, the more certain we become that we will surely be back for more.